ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago.
This censorship of Kimmel flies in the face of First Amendment.
A heated debate after Jimmy Kimmel's show was pulled off the air following his comments about the death of Charlie Kirk. And this afternoon, President Trump suggested going further, saying the FCC should consider pulling the licenses of networks and late-night shows that are critical of him. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. As KTVU's political reporter Greg Lee reports tonight, First Amendment advocates say the Trump administration has crossed the line, and some Democrats are calling on the FCC chairman to resign.
Reaction continues to pour in after Disney-owned ABC suspended late-night talk show Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. The network faced FCC pressure over comments the host made about the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
President Trump asked about the decision while in the UK.
They should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
Kimmel's suspension came after media company Sinclair Nexstar said its ABC affiliates would not air the show. Nexstar needs FCC approval to complete a $6 billion deal to merge with Tegna. Disney also needs a sign-off for ESPN's purchase of NFL Network.
Late night shows, something's gone seriously awry there.
Trump-appointed FCC Chair Brendan Carr slammed Kimmel's comments, saying they spread misinformation. Carr threatened regulatory action.
I can't imagine another time when we've had local broadcasters tell what we call a national programmer like Disney that your content no longer meets the needs and the values of our community. So this is an important turning point.
Essentially saying that any media actor that doesn't say what Trump wants them to say about Charlie Kirk or Trump's policies is going to be silenced. That's censorship. That's state speech control. That's not America.
Democrats blasted the decision and raised free speech concerns. The FCC's lone Democrat, Commissioner Ana Gomez, pushed back, writing, "This FCC does not have the authority, the ability, or the constitutional right to police content or punish broadcasters for speech the government dislikes. Free speech is the foundation of our democracy, and we must push back against any attempt to erode it."
It sounded like he was leveraging the FCC's ability to investigate and just make things difficult for broadcasters in order to suppress speech that the FCC really has no constitutional power suppressing.
Eugene Volokh, legal scholar and First Amendment expert at the Hoover Institution, said ABC is free to cancel a show, but the government is not allowed to pressure private entities directly or indirectly.
I think pulling the licenses of broadcasters because you don't like them, that's not allowed by the First Amendment. And I think the Supreme Court would make that clear.
Greg Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And the abrupt suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's late-night show sparked protests in Southern California. Demonstrators gathered today outside of ABC's studios in Burbank to show support for the TV host. Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, has been unanimously elected as the CEO of Turning Point USA by the board of that organization. The announcement comes after Erika Kirk emotionally vowed to carry on Charlie's legacy after his assassination last week. Turning Point USA says Kirk repeatedly stated this is what he wanted in the event of his death. The statement went on to say, quote, "Charlie prepared all of us for a moment like this one. He worked tirelessly to ensure Turning Point USA was built to survive even the greatest tests." Palestinian activists are urging the Oakland airport to stop military shipments to Israel. Members of a coalition of local Arab organizations held a rally earlier today. They're calling on city and Port of Oakland officials to halt what they say are military cargo shipments from the government through the airport headed to Israel. They say the shipments are flown on FedEx cargo planes and include replacement parts for F-35 fighter jets, which Israel has used in the war in Gaza.
We demand immediately a cease of all military cargo shipments from Oakland Airport to Israel. We demand an implementation of an arms embargo through a permanent policy to prohibit the use of Oakland's public infrastructure and finances for military transfer to Israel.
According to the Oakland Airport, it's legally required to accommodate air cargo arranged by the government and or private air cargo providers, including FedEx. Due to federal laws and FAA regulations, the airport says it does not control access to cargo manifests or the shipping activities of its carriers. A new video has now been released showing a recent ICE raid at a car wash in Southern California. This footage is from September 9th. A raid unfolded at Valley Car Wash in Los Angeles. And during this operation, the owner was taken down by agents but was not detained. This is the same car wash that was raided earlier this summer. Activist groups are now launching a car wash protection unit, encouraging the public to film federal agents during arrests. But if they interfere, federal officials say they will prosecute people. In a statement, officials from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection said in part, quote, during the operation, a U.S. citizen obstructed the arrest of an illegal alien, disobeyed BP agents' commands, and was placed under arrest for assaulting and impeding a federal agent. We have an update tonight on the investigation unfolding in Southern California into the death of a teenage girl whose body was found inside the trunk of a Tesla. Authorities say that car is registered to a well-known singer named David. And tonight, TMZ reports Los Angeles police searched a home in the Hollywood Hills last night where David had been living. The body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas was discovered last week after that car was towed to an impound lot. I talked with TMZ's Charles Latiboudiere about the latest developments in this case.
This home is about a block and a half away from where that car, this Tesla, had been parked on the street and was technically abandoned because it had been there for more than 3 days. And that's when it got towed to an impound yard where they eventually made the grisly discovery. But the search of the home where David was living certainly moves this investigation to the next stage here, which is clearly police are trying to see if there is any connection between David and the victim and this crime.
And as this investigation unfolds in Southern California, singer David has been on a tour across the country. However, his show in Seattle last night was canceled, and TMZ reports he's scheduled to perform still in San Francisco tomorrow and then in L.A. We're hearing tonight from a woman who miraculously survived a freak accident as she was driving in Southern California. As KTVU's Gina Silva reports tonight, a metal rod tore through the bottom of the woman's car as she was driving, impaling her.
I thought I got shot. I thought a car hit me. I felt a big impact.
Jessica Preciado knew something was terribly wrong when she heard a loud pop, followed by horrific pain as she drove along the 57 freeway in Brea early Tuesday morning.
I felt really weak. I felt just like my blood pressure went down. I started sweating profusely. I felt cold. I also felt so confused as to where was this injury coming from. I looked around. No one else seemed to know what was happening.
Take a good look at this. It's a metal rod that tore through the bottom of Jessica's car while she was driving. And this part went straight into her left buttock. Perhaps because she was in shock, Jessica didn't realize it. And when paramedics arrived, they also couldn't figure out the problem until Jessica said,
"Please look behind me. I think I'm stuck to the seat. I feel like I'm stuck to the seat." They did what I asked. They checked and they said, "Please stop moving. Nobody move. You have a foreign object stuck to your bottom."
As a nurse, Jessica knew the paramedics were right, but she did the opposite.
I know I shouldn't have done this, but I jumped out of my seat and I pulled myself out of the object. And I say that because you're not supposed to pull objects out. You don't know if you're in an area where you can start profusely bleeding. And I know that. But in the moment, it was just acting out of instinct. And I wanted to get off of the object.
Jessica was rushed to a trauma center, and miraculously, she's already back home. Jessica is struggling to walk, and she's tending to her wound, but she knows it could have been much worse.
It was emotional. I was just sad because I dropped off my son, and then to go at the end of the day, like, how about if I wouldn't be here at the end of the day?
And that report from Fox 11's Gina Silva tonight. Preciado believes the rod fell off of a truck that was in front of her on the freeway. Tonight, we're learning more about a military helicopter that crashed in a rural part of Washington state. It happened on the Joint Base Lewis McChord in Thurston County late last night. Today, the U.S. Army Special Operations Command said that 4 service members were on board that helicopter when it went down, but authorities have not released their conditions. Authorities are describing this as an aviation mishap, and they say they're still investigating exactly what went wrong. New details are emerging tonight about a story we are closely following here in the West, and that is the shootout that unfolded in Pennsylvania yesterday that left 3 police officers dead and 2 injured. Those officers were trying to serve a warrant for a domestic violence suspect where they were ambushed. Investigators say when officers entered that rural home, 24-year-old Matthew Ruth opened fire, killing 3 officers at the door. Other officers returned fire and several were injured, and the suspect ultimately was killed.
All actions by law enforcement were justified. They weren't only justified, they were necessary.
Last night, a procession of police vehicles honored the fallen officers as their bodies were removed from the scene. This is the 2nd deadly police shooting in that same county in just the past 7 months. A young officer was killed during a hostage situation at a hospital back in February. Still ahead tonight on West Coast Wrap, new recommendations out from the CDC, the changes they're making to the childhood vaccine schedule. Also sparking controversy, why a social media post by the Arizona Cardinals quarterback received backlash.
Rarely does it rain in the state of California in the month of September, but I'll show you where it's raining and how long it's going to stick around with your West Coast Wrap forecast.
The new Vaccine Advisory Committee voted earlier today to recommend the CDC make some major changes to the childhood vaccine schedule. The committee, selected by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., advised that children under the age of 4 no longer receive the vaccine for chickenpox and measles, mumps, and rubella. They say this is due to a small risk of seizures in that age group. The advisory put off a vote on whether to give infants the hepatitis B shot the day they're born.
The members of this ACIP committee are committed to reassuring the public and restoring public confidence by removing unnecessary risks and harms whenever possible. That is the pro-vaccine agenda.
Today's recommendations come one day after California, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii issued unified vaccine recommendations, part of the West Coast Health Alliance. They are still recommending the flu shot for everyone 6 months and older. The CDC Vaccine Committee is expected to discuss updated COVID shots tomorrow. The Federal Trade Commission, along with a bipartisan group of state attorneys general, are suing Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation. That includes AGs from Colorado and Utah. They claim the companies use illegal strategies to force consumers to pay more for events, such as coordinating with brokers to purchase millions of dollars worth of tickets so Ticketmaster can profit off of brokers paying fees to upsell tickets on their platform. Ticketmaster has not commented publicly on the lawsuit. Some Starbucks workers are suing the company over the company's new dress code policy. The employees claim the company violated the law after changing the company dress code by failing to reimburse workers who had to buy new clothes. Starbucks' new dress code was implemented back on May 12th. It requires workers to wear a solid black shirt under the company's green apron. Starbucks says it offered employees 2 shirts at no cost following the policy change. They say the dress code makes workers' aprons stand out and gives customers a consistent experience. Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray is apologizing after a post on social media sparked controversy. That post featured a picture of Murray posing with his pit bull and wearing a Michael Vick Virginia Tech jersey. The post has since been taken down. Back in 2007, Michael Vick pleaded guilty to charges of financing and participating in a pit bull dogfighting ring. He spent 21 months in federal prison. When asked, Murray condemned animal cruelty.
In no way, shape, or form do I, condone, animal cruelty or dogfighting, whatever it is. For me personally, Y'all saw me wear the Michael Vick jersey, a player that I admire very much growing up. And then, being home with my pup, who, my dog Trunks and Swoosh, they both get treated like kings.
After being released from prison and reinstated in the NFL, Michael Vick did some animal advocacy work. He is now the head football coach at Norfolk State University. Murray and the Cardinals will be visiting the San Francisco 49ers this upcoming Sunday. Dodgers pitcher Clayton Kershaw will retire at the end of the 2025 season. Kershaw is currently in his 18th year with the Dodgers and has put together one of the most decorated careers in franchise history. He's won 2 World Series, 3 Cy Youngs, an MVP award, and the Roberto Clemente Award, which best exemplifies the highest level of sportsmanship in the game. His last regular season start at Dodger Stadium is set for tomorrow night when the Dodgers will be hosting the San Francisco Giants. We turn now to Nevada, where the Clark County Commissioners introduced a new ordinance at their Wednesday meeting to adopt the Athletics' $2 billion ballpark development agreement. The document outlines regulations the A's will have to follow as they build that 33,000-seat stadium in Las Vegas right along the Strip. The commissioners will hear the document also with public comment at their October 8th county zoning meeting, where it's expected to go up for a vote. Let's turn now and talk about our weather here in the West. We want to give you a live look here in Alaska tonight. This is in Tenaki Springs. This is just outside of Juneau. You can see it is gray and cloudy tonight, just hours after this area was under a tsunami advisory, all because of a massive 7.8 magnitude earthquake that struck along the edge of Russia and caused some concern for at least a short time here in this part of Alaska. But we can tell you tonight that tsunami advisory has since been lifted. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez to talk more about our weather here as we head toward the weekend. Hey, Roberta.
Hey there, Alex. We did have our own weather to speak of today around the state of California. Take a look at this. In Thousand Oaks today, just outside, about 40 miles outside of downtown Los Angeles, nearly a full half an inch of rain reported. Then you look at Escondido and Point Loma. These areas just outside of San Diego. In fact, Point Loma right next to what was formerly called Lindbergh Airport, at nearly a quarter of an inch of precipitation. And this is a lot of rain for Southern California. You take a look at Barstow, 180 miles just outside to the northeast of San Diego, with just over a third of an inch of rain. And again, that's in the Mojave Desert, so that's some substantial rainfall. And we still have rain falling. It's all associated with the remains, the remnants of what was once Tropical Storm Mario. And it continues to lift its precipitation up in a northeasterly direction, then spiraling around in a clockwise fashion around that core, the center of the area of low pressure. You could see the rainfall there, still fueling into the Mojave Desert just outside of the Los Angeles area. And then it lifts up towards Monterey, and Big Sur did report 1/100th of an inch of rain, a smattering of precipitation here and there around the Bay Area. And the North Bay right now around the Santa Rosa area, we've seen some rainfall, and some thunderstorm activity was reported right there around the Mount Shasta area. So far, no accumulation has been recorded as far as precipitation is concerned. But this has been a mighty area of low pressure, the remains of Mario. Very difficult to track. One of the most difficult systems to track that I have seen in the past several years. We still have a flood watch in effect for the Central Valley encompassing Fresno, even Coachella all the way through Bakersfield into the Mojave Desert, just outside the Los Angeles area, where we will continue to see some hit and miss scattered showers. The clouds are breaking up over the Santa Monica area, where in Los Angeles today, 84 degrees, and that's a couple of degrees above average. And this is interesting. In San Francisco, you can see the clouds associated with Mario and then the layer of fog from the marine layer. Average high this time of the year, 66, 67 degrees, and that's what you saw today. Seattle, spot on for the historical average high temperature. Now, meanwhile, you take a look at Phoenix, and you see the high there today was 101 degrees. Meanwhile, in Phoenix, you are at 96 degrees now, and you will see some clearing of the skies as well as that monsoonal moisture pushes out of Arizona, continues to lift up in a northerly direction. We will see the clearing of the skies for the last summer weekend in the Bay Area, 101 over the weekend in Arizona, and 75 looking good in Seattle. Denver, lots of sunshine. Alex?
Yeah, a tough storm system to track there along the West Coast. Roberta, thank you. Some bears on Alaska's peninsula are ready to compete in this year's Fat Bear Week. The annual online voting contest begins next week, and it's intended to showcase the resiliency of brown bears who gain weight every fall in order to survive the harsh winters. The contest began in 2014, and it's set up for a similar to a bracket-style tournament where each week voters will go online and vote to eliminate one of the 12 bears. While the competition is based around which bear is the biggest, the creator says it's about much more than just weight.
And we had always emphasized that bears need to get fat to survive. So I thought, wouldn't it be kind of fun to get people to decide who they thought was the fattest and most successful bear of the year?
The 12 bears competing this year will be announced on Monday, and voting will take place at fatbearweek.org. A winner will eventually be declared on September 30th. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, new smart glasses from Silicon Valley tech giant Meta, how the new eyewear makes it more than just a normal pair of glasses. Silicon Valley-based Meta just unveiled its brand new smart glasses with augmented reality, but the demonstration didn't go exactly as CEO Mark Zuckerberg hoped. Fox's Madison Allworth has more tonight.
Meta is looking into the future, announcing their brand new display glasses at their annual developer conference, Connect. These are the first consumer-ready smart glasses with a built-in display and a wristband controller with which you can answer text, answer calls, and more. But the demo didn't work the whole time.
WhatsApp video call.
There we go. Uh-oh. Well, let's see what happened there. That's too bad. I don't know what happened.
Zuckerberg was trying to answer a call. He attempted it multiple times and it didn't work, although other demos did. This is all part of Zuckerberg's moonshot to super intelligence, calling these glasses the window into having a piece of super intelligence of your own.
Glasses are the ideal form factor for personal super intelligence because they let you stay present in the moment while getting access to all of these AI capabilities that make you smarter, help you communicate better, improve your memory, improve your senses, and more.
Meta is hoping this bet pays off after investing billions of dollars in an AI talent poaching war. And those efforts were definitely felt because these display glasses will be sold for $799 starting on September 30th. All of this also comes as Meta is fending off reports from whistleblowers that their social media and VR platforms are not safe for kids and that they willingly ignored that. But the big focus were the AI wearable glasses. We also have a pair of the brand new Oakley Vanguard glasses also announced at Connect. These are good for sports, think running, snowboarding, with a camera here in the center and a battery life that lasts up to 9 hours. These are going to put you back $499. In New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
All right, that does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always. Have a great night.